Hi, I'm Mr. Egg from Le Pub. The first reason why Pattaya's roads are so busy is basically, at heart, Pattaya is just a little fishing village. How many times have you met those guys that were here in the 80s and 90s and they said, oh, second road, it was just a dirt track. And they're kind of telling the truth. First time I came in 96, I remember second road after kind of central Pattaya Road, a little bit further. There wasn't much of it. It was just loads of potholes and stuff like that. The major artillery roads, like beach roads from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, second road, which is now one way and very, very modern and is quite well flowing. But the sois connecting all those major roads have never changed. Pattaya at heart is a fishing village. It's used to bikes, bicycles and motorbikes going down those sois, and they're not used to these big 4x4 cars and, let's face it, coaches with tourists in going up and down those sois. They weren't designed for that. And don't ask me about town planning in this country. I have no idea what the criteria is, but clearly there isn't any planning when it comes to the road system. The second reason, and I've touched on it slightly earlier, is the fact that the Thais have a penchant for bigger cars. And the reason that is it's all about, yes, maybe your T-Rack or your wife or whatever wants to buy a car. Good idea. Yeah, we'll get a car. We'll just get a second-hand car. Oh, no. Can't get a second-hand car because of ghosts. They don't like second-hand cars. They want a new car. Well, the ghost thing is kind of true. Don't get me on ghosts. I have no idea why they are so obsessed with ghosts, but it's also about this face. They want the new car. They want to put it on Instagram that they've got the new car. And they don't want a little hatchback. They want a big 4x4 car. And I can understand if your wife or girlfriend lives maybe in a village where the roads aren't so good, so when they go back home they can navigate those. But if they're just driving around Pattaya, those huge 4x4s are quite ridiculous. I don't quite understand why anybody would want to drive one of those in this city. I was going to call this video Don't Buy a Car in Pattaya, or Don't Bring a Car to Pattaya. And the reason I was going to do that is it's difficult now in some of the more touristy and nightlife areas to even park a motorbike, let alone a car or a small car. But a 4x4 is almost impossible. It is so difficult to park and get around in those vehicles. But as the economy here in Thailand grows, more and more people want those cars. It's an aspirational thing for a Thai. And so there are more and more big face-getting vehicles all around this town. And that, of course, clogs up the roads. As a motorcyclist, getting stuck behind one of them is an absolute nightmare. A lot of the times they're from Bangkok, because you can tell on the registration plates that it says Bangkok. You can read it in Thai. And that puts me on to point number 3. And that is that a lot of more Bangkokians and people with a little bit of money are having second homes here. They're coming down for the weekend. And where I'm walking now, yeah, there's a little bit of traffic coming down. But come here on a Saturday or a Sunday, especially a Sunday, at about 11 a.m, 12 midday, and it is absolutely packed here. This is the road that leads to Cozy Beach and all those nice Instagrammable, high-so restaurants by the not-so-nice beach. But they're aspirational places. They want to go there. And there is a queue of people, and they're not coming on motorbikes or tuk-tuks. They're coming in their fancy car. They've driven down from Bangkok, or they've driven up from Bangkok or from Rayong, and they want to show off. They want to go to the high-so places here in Pattaya. Pattaya's becoming more fashionable for middle class, as the Thai middle classes grow, and high-so Thais to come here, have a second condominium somewhere, and they want to get out in the streets. And most of those people, because they've got a bit of money and the face thing and everything, have got big vehicles. And trust me, as I've said, as a motorcyclist, get stuck behind one of them big 4x4s with the Bangkok number plates on. They don't know where they're going. They're looking for a parking space which doesn't exist. It can get really, really tight. Third reason's a bit of an obvious one, really, and that is that clearly, over the last 10 years, tourism has become a lot bigger. The Tourist Authority of Thailand is aiming at mass tourism, so they're looking at people coming in from India and China. It's a lot easier to get people in from those areas than it is from Western countries and from America and Australia. So those are the people that they're going for. And of course, those people come in big tour groups, cheap kind of works outing, some of them. And so they need to get around, and they go in, there's some dogs. Oh, there's loads of dogs. I'm scared of dogs. So they go around in coaches, and of course, those tour buses going around cause major mayhem. I've seen them sometimes, tour buses, as you can see over here, sometimes taking the shortcuts that a motorcyclist or somebody with a small car would take to try and defeat the traffic. As the traffic builds up on the main roads, they try and take those. And of course, that builds up even and creates even more problems. The drivers of these buses and tour buses just don't seem to have a lot of common sense, really. I'm not sure about the licensing of those. So just the sheer weight of people on the roads coming from places like the Indian subcontinent and China means that there are a lot more tour buses on the roads causing more mayhem. Number 4, and I'm filming this now at 9 o'clock in the morning, but the place is getting hotter. And because it's getting hotter, people aren't so keen to walk around anymore. And they're also not too keen to get motorbike taxis like they used to maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And by the way, like I do all the time. And that leads me on to the really big reason, in my opinion, and that is the huge growth of ride-sharing apps. Here in Pattaya, rides like Grab and Bolt are huge. And I see people that are single people in the bar that instead of either walking to a bar, or to another bar when they leave, or getting a motorbike like they would have done a few years ago, they're getting a Bolt. They're on their phones, ordering the app and ordering the car. And instead of people being on their feet or being in motorbikes, so many people are now, quite rightly, opting for a cheap air-conditioned ride in one of those apps. A cheap air-conditioned ride in a car operated by an individual, and that's the way they prefer to go. The sheer amount of people using those particular services are putting a huge amount of cars on the road, and that means that the roads get congested. And ironically, I don't understand why you would want to get in an aircon car, other than the fact that it's airconned. And it might be even cheaper than the motorbike, but you are going to be 2 or 3 times longer in a car, waiting in a car, than you are going on a motorbike. I'm a huge fan of the bikes. I think if you're a single traveller, just on your own, going from A to B, quite a short distance, I would always either go on foot or go on a motorbike taxi. If you've got a little friend with you, or maybe a big group of you, then it makes sense to go in a Bolt. But you will be waiting a long time. First of all, for it to arrive, if it arrives at all, haggle about the price, and then waiting in traffic that's created by everybody else on those rides, trying to get from A to B. So, ride-sharing apps, I think personally, is the biggest reason why there is so much traffic now on the roads of this little fishing village here in Pattaya. Just before I go, one more thing, right? I love you. In India, I love you, right? I think your women are sexy. I love your spicy food. But please, why do Indian people walk in the road, right? There are pavements. Are there no pavements in India? I'm not being racist, right? It is so true. Arabs don't do it. I don't see a lot of Westerners doing it other than in places where there aren't any pavements. I don't know. I always sometimes stop. The Thais really lose their temper with them. I always stop and say, excuse me, please, for your own safety, can you use the pavement? I don't want you to get run over. I'm trying to help you here. So please. Indians walking in the road is a serious problem. And please, 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 I'm not picking on you, India, but just use the pavement like everyone else. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Come to the bar. My bar is on Soy Diamond. You can see me there, well, I don't know, every day apart from my day off, really, from about 4 p.m. Don't leave it too late because I like to get to bed early these days. And we've got some lovely girls. We've got aircon. We've got draft Guinness. Fantastic coffee. Great sports. Come on down. It's a great little beer bar on Soy Diamond Le Pub. I'm Mr. Egg. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel, help with paying for equipment, and also have a little bit of an insider track on what goes on behind the scenes when you're running a beer bar here in Pattaya. The real, not what people think goes on, but what really goes on. Then subscribe to my channel, because I do a lot of stuff for members only that I can't put in the public areas. But for me, Mr. Egg, oh, it's got a little bit quieter. There's no soy dogs either. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.